Hey fam, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Big Love season 4 review. This is episode 7, Blood Atonement. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into this madness that is Big Love. I don't know if it is a different writer or different director, but something about season 4 is disappointing me. I'm not liking the direction that it's going in because some of this seems so off the wall to me that I just can't fathom how the things that occurred in this episode occurred. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So, Bill, y'all, the storyline was all over the place. I didn't go back over my notes, so forgive me if it gets jumbled because it was all over the place. I tried to keep certain chunks together, so it's not necessarily going in order. Okay, let's go. So Bill is supposed to be preparing for an interview, but he left for the airport. He is claiming to Barb that he left for a meeting that is out of state for Home Plus, that he had to do it last minute because Don is no longer there. I do not like how they've completely dropped the ball on what is going on with Don now that this happened. I get that this is supposed to be focused around this family, but I think it's doing a disservice to go this many episodes without addressing the fact that his right-hand person, the person who really kept a lot of things afloat, is no longer there. So Joey and Bill are actually heading to Mexico to find Ben. I get not wanting Barb to panic, so he didn't tell her what was really going on, but I despise liars, and that is what a lot of their dynamic consists of, is people lying to one another. So Bill and Joey meet up with Jodine, who is there. He tries to get the government to send help to get people to look into Hollis and to look for his family. But how can you get them to do things when you don't even know where to look? Because they never said where they were going, and what is on their documentation as to where they were visiting isn't where they were last seen. So he can't give any information to the leaders, and Jodine hasn't given them a lot of information because she doesn't want them to be arrested. We'll talk about that later. So he wants them to look into this, like look for his people, but he's told that they're in an area that they have bigger things to worry about than some Americans that are missing. Like they have an actual drug cartel, that people are kidnapped and unalived every day. We find out that Selma Green was extradited to stand trial there, but was able to walk out, which goes to the corruption that goes on in that area. So Bill is standing there talking all this junk to the man who's supposed to be interpreting for the other gentleman. I don't know if he's the chief or what. I didn't look to see what the sign on his desk said, but he apparently is the shot caller. And certain words the gentleman does understand. So you talking all this junk, but you want the man to translate it for you, not realizing that he's getting some of your words, because the officer that is sitting there, or the head, whoever he is, says to the other guy, like, he needs to cállate la boca. And I know what that means. Like, if I don't know any other word in Spanish, I know the bad ones. Or the negative ones. So Jodine fills in Joey about why they're actually there, saying that not only was Lois smuggling birds and attempting to cut the greens out, but Frank was smuggling in some things too. She then opens up the trunk, and in the case of the trunk, in the compartment, is a bunch of GUNS. Lois bought these at that type of show in Phoenix. Joey is excited by this because Joey wants to get Hollis. That is the only reason why he agreed to come, for Hollis. And he tells Jodine this. And Jodine lets him know, like, I understand what you're saying, but this isn't what Kathy would want. Joey really disappointed me in this episode. I don't know how I would operate had this have happened to someone that I love, like knowing No, actually, I do know what happened because this has happened to someone that I love. What am I talking about here? I do know what would happen. What would happen is I wouldn't go out and seek to kill them. Wow, y'all. I just, I that just completely went over my head. Like I was literally about to sit here and lie and say I don't know what I would do had one of my loved ones been unalive by someone, but I do know what I would do. And it wouldn't be what Joey did. Huh. Mm. Back to this. Whew. Um Hollis and Selma. We see Hollis and Selma together. Selma must have just gotten home because they're talking about being glad to finally being home and throwing a celebration for Selma. Selma is talking about the female mongrels and the vicious guards and how it was just too much and how Selma would rather die than have to be in that type of situation again. We also find out that Selma is a mom because um she's called mom. So I'm just gonna say that Selma is a tomboy since, well, I can't even say that because, okay, I'm not trying to disrespect whatever the pronouns are for Selma, but Selma has had children. So at the Green Compound, Hollis has set up a mock trial for the Henriksons. He wants them to basically be sentenced and punished. Lois is laughing, calling them Fruit Loops, while other people aren't, because they're realizing very quickly that Hollis just wants some type of justification for what he's going to do to them, which is have them eliminated. So they are put on the version of trial. Before they do this, while they're in jail, Lois tells the bird seller that what he needs to do is he needs to say that they never like contacted one another, like with no contact there's no conspiracy. She's talking to him like this is an actual like court case, like something that she could actually get out of. She's saying those things, and Frank and Ben are like, what in the world? Frank says it's not a real child. And Ben says, either way, he's going to eliminate us. Either way, he's going to get rid of us. So the trial begins, and Lois is standing there making all types of excuses as to what happened and what was what and why she was there. And the man who distributes the birds is talking about how, it's bad enough. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's bad enough that you treat me wrong in the United States, but you're gonna treat me bad like crap in my state. Like, how you gonna treat me bad in my country? That's not okay. So he's going off, and Hollis is like, "You're found in contempt," and he's like, "Contempt of what?" So Selma grabs him, pulls him to the side, and the next thing you know is boom, boom, boom. Being found in contempt in Hollis's version of jail gets you eliminated. So Lois is shaking and trembling because the reality has set in. Like, you say the wrong thing, you're going to be found in contempt too. But I think some part of Hollis is enjoying this. So Lois is about to continue to respond and answer the questions, but she's saved because someone comes up with the newspaper that has an article. Excuse me. I don't know why I always come on camera and do this to y'all. Sorry for passing on my yawn. They have the newspaper and they show it to Hollis, and Hollis finds out that Bill is running for office and that he is now the UEB trustee, which interests Hollis because Hollis wants access to that money. So he decides that he wants to set up a meeting with him, which kind of spares Lois for that moment. So while all this is going on, Bill is doing his radio interview on the phone. He finds out that he didn't find out. It seems like he wasn't surprised by it, that he has been appointed as the new acting trustee because of the death of Dale. He's asked if he knows any additional details about the death, and Bill says, no, all I know is what you know, which is that the police took a 911 call and that this is a terrible loss. He says, tell your listening audience, I intend to clean up the rot in the compounds for the benefit of all the citizens of Utah. What do you mean by rot? Because I don't know. I feel like Bill really feels like he's above all of this, but he really, really isn't. And I don't know if they were trying to give him like a redemption type of arc in this episode. It didn't work for me. I didn't fall for it. I still don't like him. You're saying all these things about how, Dale was a good man and yada yada yo. Meanwhile, you seem very unfazed by it. You don't seem broken up about the fact that this man that you have been working with for a little bit of time about this is now gone, and it was done in a tragic way. So the call ends. Well, he hangs up the phone after he's signaled over by the police officer to come and talk. So after searching, they claim that no one has seen anything, but that they do believe that the Greens have them, because when they went to go visit the Greens compound, they had like guards on standing by, and the place is on lockdown, so they don't want to barge in. The fact that you know that there is a possible kidnapping, and because of the way things are done there, and because of whatever pull Hollis has or whatever money Hollis pays, you're not willing to go in this property and check for this person, this young man that could be gone, and the relatives. Like, it just goes to show you the way things are done a lot of times. I feel like this isn't just a fictitious thing. Like, this happens in real life. So they said another reason why they don't want to barge up in there is because they know that the Greens have a large amount of firearms. At what point do you gain control of your country? What is it going to take for things like this to not happen? And I'm not talking about, I don't want the violent aspect. I don't want war. I just want to know, like, you really are going to stand by and allow this, because these people come and go as they please. There's got to be a way to stop them at some point as they're coming to the United States and coming back. Like, y'all aren't keeping a watchful eye on something. It just goes to show you how often the ball is dropped, even with other agencies, because the feds know that this family is camping out in Mexico and they've done all these acts. No one was ever prosecuted for what happened to Roman other than the ladies. We see that Selma got out for the whole kidnapping thing and all that other stuff. So what exactly is being done? So, knowing all this, Bill is still making demands and talking about the corrupt police force. And it's just hitting him as he's talking that his son could be gone, that his son could be unalived. So he leaves out. Bill and Joey decide that they're going to go and rescue them without having help from the police. Let's talk about something a little crazier. So apparently, the Henriksen family made Anna, or requested for Anna, to get a DNA test done. Margene comes over to ask Barb, like, do you have the results? Barb's like, yeah. As Maury would say, you are the father. Bill is the father. So Margene wants to go with Barb to see Anna and talk to her. But Barb is still upset with Margene. So Margene is like, look, my premarital indiscretion was different from Anna's. I didn't know what I was doing. And I told Bill that I wasn't going to be the other woman. As I heard Margene saying that, I got irritated with her, because whether or not you were young, you knew that he was married. And I get the whole polygamous thing changes the way you may navigate, but you knew you were doing something wrong. I like Margene, but when you do something behind someone's back, even as polygamous women, we've seen it. That's what happened with Mary and Janelle. Janelle kind of went behind her back, as did Cody, and they started, having interactions with each other that Mary wasn't privy to. The book tells us that. So with that being said, when you do things behind the first wife, second wife, whoever wife's back, and then you want to come in and try to act like I'm included in this, even though you were already doing your stuff, you would think that you would realize that this may cause some problems further down the line. With that being said, in this instance, I can understand why at times Barb may have resented these other women, because they were not presented to her right. She was never given the option. He already started doing things. I think he didn't do things with Nikki, but he definitely was interested in her and probably started talking to her before he told Barb. Barb, though, once again, does too much when it comes to Anna because she goes to visit Anna and tells her how betrayed she feels about the whole situation, about her getting pregnant before they even got married. Barb, take that up with your husband. Anna does not owe Barb anything. Bill does. Bill is the person that you were married to. And do I agree with the whole fact that Anna was sleeping with the married man? No, I don't. However, Bill is the one who owes something to his wife. She also said that she doesn't like that Anna made a deal with Bill for visitation and support that intended to cut her out. Anna is looking at her like, this thing that you're doing right here, this questioning, your complaints, your demands, all of this is the reason why I don't want to deal with you because you do too much. This is going on, and I think his what was his name? Something with a G. He comes out, the fiance, and they're talking in their language, and in her language, she says, the cult lady wants me to drink the Kool-Aid again. I said, not the cult lady. I don't know why I found that so funny, but it's the way she said it. And then he was like, Kool-Aid. And she's like, no, thank you. No, hun. They're not offering you Kool-Aid. They're talking about how you think that they're about to drink the Kool-Aid, trying to swallow the mess that you're selling. So Anna's like, look, my fiance's visa isn't getting renewed. He left to go visit his mom. Something got messed up. So you're doing all this, but you don't even got to really worry about visitation because he has to leave. And if he has to leave, I'm leaving too. So they go back and forth about that. And Barb, in her own way, basically threatens that if Anna were to try to leave the country with Bill's baby, that she will involve the law. Barb, do you not understand that your threats will not work on them? Do you not get that you're not in a position where you should be saying these type of things? You're actually in a position where you should be quiet. You have no claim to her womb, despite how much you're trying to insert yourself. You need to allow your husband to handle it because if you go to a court, they're going to want to deal with him, Barb. They're not going to want to deal with you. So Barb leaves. Margene goes to see Anna. She tells her, Bill can help, with the INS issue. How? Who are we talking about here? Because to my knowledge, Bill can't. Are they this delusional that you think that your husband has this type of pull when he clearly doesn't? Anna's fiance is hearing all this between Barb and what Margene is saying, and he's over it. In so many words, he lets it be known that Anna holds the cards. He tells Margene, your husband is running for political office, isn't he? And she's like, yeah. He says, maybe people in glass houses should be careful not to throw stones. Basically telling Margene that he knows that this whole situation could impact Bill's campaign. So they may want to leave them alone. Also, was he rolling up something? Was there some, ganja? Was that what he was about to smoke? Because he looked like he had a little wrap and was licking it. I'm like, what is going on here? Was that just me? Or, let me know down below. So later, Barb shows up at Margene's job, which is odd. But apparently she came to apologize for taking things out on Margene. They hug. I was skeptical of this situation the moment that I saw her in there because Barb has never before made an effort to be involved with Margene's business. You didn't even come down to see her the many times she's recorded shows. So she's like, I hope, that, the new house can help us get close. I miss being close to you. She then flips it because she's talking about how she's been looking at the new house design. She's been looking at, the plans for the house, and she noticed that it doesn't have an office. So she thinks that they need to add a home office for Margie because she wants her to have that in the home so that she could work from home. Barb knows that Margene does not want to have an office in that home, that she doesn't want to be home. But this is Barb, yet again, pushing what she wants, pushing her agenda under the guise of doing something for the family. As I said, you haven't been to her office any other time. Why are you doing this now? And Margene looks like she's bothered, and she picked up what Barb just did. So we later see Margene go to see Anna, and she tells her that she has an idea, that she can marry her fiance and everything will be fixed. Her fiance can stay, they can have the baby there, he can pursue becoming a doctor like he wants to, and they'll have the ability to see him. And once he gets, he's a doctor, then they'll get divorced. Later on, she's at her house because they want to go with the plan, and she's taking pictures to prove to the people that they've been dating for a while. She, however, is caught by Nikki, who's told by her kids that Margene has a Christmas tree up, right? Nikki, of course, is upset, and she wants to call Bill. She says that Margene is really doing this to protect her business, while Margene is saying that it's not just that, it's a whole bunch of things. I'm trying to protect the family. Like, did you see the size of the house that they're trying to build? There's no way that we're going to be able to do that if we don't have a business to build, or if we don't have money to build it with, because our businesses are gone. Nikki is going off. Margene is talking about all this is because you haven't done your job and you haven't had a baby. And Nikki then tells Margene that she has secondary infertility and her uterus is unhappy. We'll get to it. That night, Margene goes to tell Barb that she got married to Goran, I think his name is, because they were going to leave without letting them know. Nikki comes in. Barb is like, you knew? And Nikki's like, yeah, but she threatened me. And then she says, I didn't think that she would actually do it. Like, I thought it was a bird brain idea. I didn't think it was something that she would actually do. And Margene says, like, I did it for all of you. I did it for all of us. And Barb's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And she's walking off. And she's telling them that her Coke container is full. She can't take any more. So since I brought up Nikki, let me talk about that. Nikki is having a hard time getting pregnant. So she goes to visit her doctor, the same fertility doctor that gave her the BC, and he tells her that the most fertile period for a woman is between ages 15 and 30, that the quality of eggs decline with age, that she doesn't have any blockages or anything. He can't explain what's going on except by saying that she has an angry uterus, I guess. She actually seems sad about the news. Later on, Nikki is at home. Adeline comes over to apologize about what happened with Carlin and how she was almost sealed. She's acting like she's sorry. I don't know if she really is. She says that 15 was too young to have Nikki sealed, which means Nikki got married when she was only 15 years old. Horrible. Nikki thanks her for finally apologizing for it. Adeline then tells Nikki that she has good news. She is pregnant. Nikki can never catch a break when she is dealing with her family. I think that Nikki doesn't even ever have a chance to really deal with her emotions because her family is constantly dumping something else on her. So she is calling this whole thing a miracle, saying it proves that Heavenly Father meant for her and JJ to be together. And she's glowing. Okay, so who's going to get that baby in their kingdom? Would it be JJ or would it be her? I'm just wondering. I can't remember what the books say, because that sounds crazy to me. Anyways, so she says, like, I'm glowing. I can feel it. I know that I have a baby. And Nikki isn't sharing in her joy, and she needs Nikki to share in her joy. Me personally, I would have kicked her out of my house. It's too much, especially since Nikki just found out that she is having problems with her fertility, and she doesn't find it amusing, and she looks like she's hurt. Later on, Nikki has her mother take some pregnancy tests, and she finds out her mother is really pregnant. I don't quite understand what's going on here, because the discussion that Nikki has with the son later is a little odd to me, and it seems like something was being left out. And I also wonder when this was done before because of what Wanda said. Nikki, no, not Nikki. Adeline tells Nikki about JJ's son, who is a doctor that has moved back from Kansas, and he's on the compound practicing medicine. I don't even know if the man is licensed. It doesn't seem like it, but who's to say? So he's the one that helped her get pregnant. Adeline knows that he can also help Nikki. I just don't understand why Adeline will want to be pregnant. Why would you want to have a baby that is also a sibling and also a uncle or a aunt to your grandchild? It's weird. It's so weird. So Wanda is seeing all this stuff that her brother is doing and that he's unpacking and that unpacking. He's making himself really, really comfortable considering that Nikki wanted him off of the compound. Wanda confronts JJ about getting Adeline pregnant. She says, "What have you done, JJ? What have you done? You promised." He must have done something like this before, but to whom? He warns her not to say anything, or he says that Joey is going to go down for murder. At this point, Joey, turn yourself in. Just like, what are we doing here? I want to know what he has done. Whatever it is, it must be very bad because Wanda is trembling and she can't get any words out as she's standing there listening to what he has to say. So we later see Nikki go and visit JJ's son, and he tells her that he is going to go ahead and get her starting her hormones. What kind of hormones are these? This is going to be interesting. At the casino, people are outside with all types of picket signs. Things are a mess. Barb can't understand what's going on. Someone from the evangelical church had caused a stir. They're out there. She's walking in. Tommy says he's never seen protests like this. Tommy then we then learned that Tommy came back to the area just to help out his father. Barb and Tommy have been trying to get in contact with Marilyn because Marilyn's supposed to handle crises and stuff like this, but she isn't even picking up the phone. The next thing you know, BOMP is found. Oh, I can't spell. A BOM, a BOMB. I said a P. A boom is found. Oh, this is what I get for recording this so late. You know what is found on the premises. Something that goes boom, right? Because the evangelicals are upset. I don't understand. It's gambling. The people don't even sell alcohol. Like, what are we doing here? Whatever. So Barb and Tommy are still trying to get in contact with her. She's not picking up the phone. Next thing you know, the people are saying that the whole place has to be evacuated. Tommy and Barb call Bill later on. She's a wreck. She wants him to come home. Tommy tells her he's going to increase security and that he'll make sure that she's escorted to her car, and he's there to calm her down. Later, Tommy and Barb have a meeting with the head of the evangelicals, and he offers no help, and we learn why he doesn't later on. So, in the middle of all this stuff, in the middle of talking to Barb about what's going on at the casino, Hollis calls. He clicks over, hangs up on Barb. Hollis talks about Dale's death. He wants Bill at his compound or he will execute him. Bill's like, it's going to take me some time to get there because he doesn't want Hollis to know that he's there. Hollis isn't trying to hear that. He wants him there. As they're heading to the compound, they are stopped by a bunch of men who I'm going to assume is the very people that they were warned about prior, because we see them having other people on their knees with weapons held to their heads and things of that nature. Bill is going off because after getting off the phone with Hollis, he now knows why his parents were out there in the first place and why his son has been taken, that has been over some birds. So Joey is trying to get him to calm down because the other men are at the door with their weapons and their only thing you can see is their eyes. And they look at him as he has his hands up like this, and they let him go. I'm not sure why they let him go, but they let him go. If you think you know why, put it down below. So Bill promises Barb, because he calls her, that when he gets back with Ben, that things will be better. I wonder if he really means it. It's the next day. Jodine has left. Bill finds out that Joey wanted to get Hollis. He doesn't know to what extent, but he knows that he wanted to get him. So Jodine left early to try to stop him. This is when you hear Bill say, you, Mom and Dad are nothing but a bunch of crabs in a barrel, clawing and pulling at anyone who wants to get out. So you won. I'm one of you now. Excuse me, Bill. You've been a crab too. You've been clawing at people too. What do you think it was that you did to your business partner when you clawed at him so you could stand on top of him to run for this campaign that he never wanted you to run and do in the first place? Or when he had to sit here and go on the reservation, or when he had to sit there and help you with this Home Plus and deal with Roman and all these other things. Like, you're acting like you didn't step on him, or you didn't step on Kathy or Rhonda by sending her away, and we still don't know what happened to her. Like, you've stepped on people too, but you don't see that. You're acting like they just want to keep pulling you down. Meanwhile, you stood on top of people and kept them down so you could get up. So I'm side-eyeing you too, sir. So Jodine sneaks onto the compound. She's a smart girl. She's blending in, acting like she's one of the new wives there. She's helping do the chores. Lois and her crew are in the cells when she and Ben have a heart-to-heart, because she's like, I don't even really know you, and da-da-da-da-da. Jodine calls Bill, lets him know that they're okay, but she gets caught as she puts the phone to Ben, who is talking to his dad. Bill sits there and lets it be known that he's only about a couple hours away. So Hollis gets off the phone, hangs it up, says, you guys position yourself around the grounds and be prepared for his arrival. As they scope the green compound out, Bill takes Joey's gun that's behind him to leave him behind. He tells Joey that his quest for revenge outweighs their need to save the family, while Joey feels like he has no place to talk. He ends up firing a warning shot at Joey, and he leaves him. They have a whole exchange there about how Bill left them, and he tells Joey, like, you messed yourself up. You had an out too when you got into the NFL, but you messed it up. And it just shows you that there's still some underlying things with them. So just as Hollis is about to off them all, Ben asks for an appeal, and they're given another hour. Bill arrives at the compound, sneaks back to where they're keeping his family, is about to let them out. Before Lois and them see them, Lois is giving her apologies to Jodine because she basically feels like she's about to die. She apologized to Jodine, and Jodine's like, you don't have to apologize to me. I think you owe that to somebody else. She then does something to Ben, and then she goes to Frank, and she's about to apologize to him when he talks about what really happened with Bill. So Frank says, all those years ago, what happened was Roman came to him and told him that Bill had to go. This goes back to Roman always feeling like Bill was a threat, or knowing that Bill was going to take his position. He was going to take you away, Lois, is what he said, and he was going to reassign the other wives. So I decided that I needed to send Bill away. And when I decided to do that, Lois, it broke your heart. He says, which drove our family into ruin. And Lois says, for all she knows, it could have still happened even if he was there. Frank admits to being a selfish coward, and he repents. And as they're having this little heart-to-heart, Bill finds them, tells them it's a mile walk to the car, but Frank can't walk. As they're about to walk out, Lois says, leave him. And we'll come back for him. And Frank looks like he's scared. And I just laugh because I was like, how do you go from that heartfelt moment to leave him? Bill is, has the moral high ground now and is like, no one is going to be left behind this time. So Ben and Bill help, Frank brace on them as they walk out. They almost make it out. But there's always one dummy in the bunch. So you got Joey, who sneaks up there, sees a shotgun laying around, grabs it, and he starts walking through. House Green! House Green! House Green! Like, sir, shut up. They're having a party because Selma's back and you yelling about some Hollis Green. Why are you bringing attention when you almost out? Like, we almost got the people that we came here for and you still trying to do your whole revenge thing. What? Why? I said you're messing everything up, Joey, and I normally like you, but you got to let this whole Kathy thing go because you did enough with Roman and now you're trying to get Hollis. Were they all to blame? Yes. Did they all have something to do with it? Yes. But are you going to go after your brother too? Because he had something to do with it too. I'm just saying. So Bill tells him that Heavenly Father will deal with him just like he did with Roman. And this is when Joey reveals, like, Heavenly Father didn't deal with Roman. I did. I killed him. I said, shh, Joey, you don't want the people to know. So he yells blood atonement as he's aiming the weapon to try to shoot him. I said, this is just too much. Like, y'all, what are we doing with the writing here? Like, who's going blood? No, you're just gonna start firing. You're not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do this and then do it. You're just gonna do it. But whatever. He's announcing what he's doing. So Hollis and his people, they all got their weapons pointed and he's ordering, he's like, we got a little standoff here. We got a little situation here. And Bill's like, take me. Let them go. Take me. Hollis is like, sure, that's what you want to do. You ready to give up all these earthly goods? You ready to give it? And he looks at his son and there's a moment there where it looks like, oh, look at the two of them loving and caring about each other. And Hollis accepts it. So he says, William Orville Henriksen, you shall. And I was like, wait a second. Bill's name is William? Oh, okay. William Orville Henriksen. You shall. He can't even complete his sentence because Lois is pissed that he even touched her son. And you see a, don't worry, y'all, it's a tripod. You see a, I said, what? What? Well, like, what? You mean to tell me Lois grabbed that machete thing and nobody saw that she was grabbing the machete thing? She grabs that thing and she's pissed because he touched her son on the shoulder. And I mean, how dare you? She's like, how dare you lay a hand on her boy? She slices off the man's arm. Not like from here, like from here. I said, what? How do we get to this point? So Selma, of course, is like distraught, falls to their knees, and Bill's like, you got two options, basically. Like, you could either capture us and have us killed, or you could save the life of your husband, like save Hollis's life. Of course, Selma picks Hollis and says, take him to the hospital. Oh, Lois, what's about to happen to you now, girl? Because I can only imagine. Okay. Anyway, so we're back at the casino. Barb gets a fax, and when she gets the fax, she realizes that they've been played. Barb puts two and two together and realizes that Marilyn is working with the church. She calls the office where Marilyn is working at, finds out that Marilyn, like the guy Reed, the babyface evangelical, she's in Scotland, as is Paley, as is Marilyn, as is Reed. They're in the same place, which means they're working together, meaning that Bill was actually right not to trust her. But I don't understand what her getting into the casino at all and why she wanted her name, that contract. I don't understand what exactly that's going to do. Like, how does that push anything along? Why does she have to go that far to do what she did by sending people there and causing them problems? Y'all tell me what you think. So, her and Tommy keep having little moments where I see something there. Barb, if you want to leave for Tommy, I don't blame you, girl. I leave for Tommy too, girl. So Bill and crew head back to the States. We see Bill and Ben as they arrive, and they have a moment where they look at each other like you can tell that this experience has bonded them and has saved their dynamic. They actually seem like they're in a place of peace. Ben walks out the car as Barbara's standing out on the outside, and he gives his mom a big hug, and then he walks into the house. And that is how they end this episode. If there's something that I left out that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. This is getting crazier and crazier with each what am I trying to say? Crazier and crazier with each episode and season. And if I'm being honest, I'm happy that we only got one more season after this. Just because, like, based on the comments, y'all are saying that this is going to get worse. And I'm just looking like, what happened? We started off so promising. I feel like okay, for those of you who want to go, bye. But I just want to say this. I feel like they really, really dropped the ball. I feel like there's so many other storylines that they could have given us more detail for that would have kept us engaged. That really looks like I got an oogie. That would have kept us engaged and paying attention. And I feel like they rush stuff. Because what is going on with Rhonda? Why don't we know more about what happened to Rhonda? Like, where's Frankie? Frankie went to go find his mom. Y'all are in Mexico. You didn't even look for Frankie while you were out there. I know it's a big place, but I'm just saying, like, what are we doing here? Oh, I'm so mad. Anyways, I'm done. It wasn't like, horrible. There were some parts that had me on the edge of my seat. That thing with Lois at the end, though, to me just came out of nowhere. Anyway, tell me what you guys thought. Until next time, say it with me now. Peace.